Shaan's Logic. This is me, Shaan, and I hope all of you are doing fine. As you can see, I'm back in Mumbai, back in my Shark Tank chair, and today we're going to be starting a new series, Learning from the Tycoons. The series is about different businessmen and investors and how was their journey, how did they make their money, their key to success, and what we can learn from them. To start off the series, I'm going to be choosing one of my favorite investors or businessmen, KevinO. He's also a venture capitalist. KevinO has made his appearance in Dragon's Den, Shark Tank, and many other reality shows, and he has made a lot of money via investments and his own business. We'll be learning further about him. If you have seen Shark Tank, you know who Mr. Wonderful is. But for those who haven't, KevinO is a bald man in a suit who loves money. Jokes apart, Terence Thomas KevinO, also known as Mr. Wonderful, is a 66-year-old Canadian businessman, venture capital investor, politician, TV personality, and a YouTuber. He was born in 1954 in Montreal, Canada. He is most known for his appearances in Dragon's Den and Shark Tank. For those who don't know what Dragon's Den is a very similar show to Shark Tank, which involves pitchers coming in front of investors and pitching for their company or their idea. Two investors from Shark Tank, Robert Herjavec and KevinO were a part of Dragon's Den and Shark Tank.
You've met me, the best day of your life, other than when you got married. I'm a dream come true for you.
You're obviously also humble.
Exactly, that's why they call me Mr. Wonderful. I'm Mr. Wonderful,
can't be high above them all. Who exactly is calling you Mr. Wonderful?
You are right now.
I don't need no mirror on the wall.
This is the best news you've heard today. I'm going to buy the whole company. I'm going to fire you.
And you're taking all the patents into consideration.
Everything comes home to Daddy.
None of you know the industry.
But I know how to make money.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm Mr. Wonderful, can't be high above them all.
Barbara, I forbid you to invest in this business. I'm tired of you killing money.
I don't think I'm a death investment.
I would be killing money if I gave it to you.
I've grossed over $20 million in the last 4 years.
Who cares about the past?
Wait.
Mr. Wonderful.
I had my eye on you when I came in here.
I have my eye on you.
Nikki, you are the first person ever to walk into the Shark Tank and be attracted to him.
You got no projections whatsoever. You got a pig box that's going to catch on fire and kill somebody. I'm going to be sued in the Stone Age. I'm out, but I'll give you $100 for the pig box. You need me to think big.
Shane, remember who's saying
Barbara,
this to you? This
Barbara,
guy's a shark.
If you screw this up for me, I'm going to spank you like a baby seal. What happens, Aldo, if you walk out of here and a bus runs you over?
What do you mean? What happened?
If you don't make a decision, I'm taking a contract out on your cat. You'll get home, you'll be missing.
We're gonna look for a little more money.
Wow! Kevin, did you feel that? It's the evil face of greed that just came in.
That is really something.
So Kevin, I hate to admit it, but I've learned something. I've learned that you are right. It's all about what?
Money.
Now, some people may say that KevinO might sound a bit mean and he doesn't know how to speak to people. But I feel that's not very true, because looking at it from a business aspect, it's very important to know what the numbers are and what the exact idea is. And you have to invest your money into that business. So it's very important to test the investors and to know what exactly the business is before investing. Now, somehow I like KevinO. I guess it's mostly because of his remarkable journey, which is very, very inspirational. KevinO had a difficult childhood with his parents splitting up and him traveling all across the world. His education became a bit distorted with all of these things, but however it gave him a perspective on how people think around the world, which later helped him with his business. During his young age, when he had long, silky rock star hair, he wanted to be a rock star or a photographer, which his father denied. Kevin O'Leary's turning point in life was when he was working at a place called Magoo's Ice Cream Parlor. This was his first job and he was in 11th grade at the time. One day at work, the owner of the shop asked Kevin to scrape gum off the floor, which of course Kevin denied. The owner immediately fires him, which humiliates him. This inspires Kevin never to work for anyone again and move towards business. We have a clip where Kevin O'Leary explains what exactly happened about this incident.
I'll never forget this place. It was very profound what happened to me here. I could buy this place today and bulldoze it if I wanted. I remember my very first job. It was at a place called Magoo Ice Cream Parlor in Ottawa, Canada. And it was incredibly traumatic for me, and it taught me a lesson that I've never forgotten. It ruled my life in business from that day on. This is Magoo's Ice Cream Parlor. This was Magoo's Ice Cream Parlor. It was my second day working there, and the owner had hired me to scoop ice cream. It was right here, the counter was right here, and I was finishing work one day, and she said to me, "Get down on your knees and scrape the gum off the floor." And she looked at me like a witch. And I said, "No." And she said, "You're fired. Get out of my ice cream store." Right here, it happened right here. I didn't even know what fired meant. But within minutes, I was on my bicycle on my way home in utter shame, in shock that she had that kind of control over my life. It was stunning and powerful. I have never, ever... What?
She's still pissing you off.
I can't believe it. Changed my life forever. I have never, ever in my life worked for someone again. Ever. No one has ever had control over me, ever. And never will.
Wow. Now that's some determination. And I would love to have the same determination in whatever I do, like studies and my other extracurricular activities. Now, let's look at how Kevin O'Leary made his first $1 million and how he makes his money. Kevin O'Leary, while doing MBA in business school, was interested in cinematography. So, he struck a deal with the dean of business school. He asked her if he can make his film on his university life in the business school, which would later be used for marketing the business school itself. And he asked the dean for $50,000 so that he can buy the cameras and build a crew for making the film. The dean asked the rest of the crew and made the final decision of allowing Kevin to make the film and giving him $30,000 instead of the $50,000. Which was fine by Kevin, as he got an opportunity to make a film on the university life. Kevin also asked the dean to give him some credits for the film that he makes. The dean also agreed to that. Next, he continues to make the film, and the film turns out to be wonderful, and Kevin passes the school with tremendously great marks. Kevin, other than the great grades, he also finds a very good team to work with. And with that team, he makes a new company called Special Events Television. The company had a sports format, and they did a show named Original Six, which involved them getting retired hockey players from around the world and making them play with each other. The show was an absolute hit. And 2 years later, they sold the company for a lot of money. Each of the original crew members or the founders got hundreds of thousands of dollars each. That is some great piece of business. Soon after he sold the company, he started attending computer classes. Learning never stops for him. But here, he found his next co-founder in business, John Freeman. Together, they created the company Softkey. They together solved some plotter software. The entire thing is a bit complex for me to explain, so let's hear it in Kevin's own words.
I had enrolled in a night class with a computer called an Osborne computer. It was the first portable computer ever made. It was a CP/M operating system. And I met this guy named John Freeman. John had designed a program that drove Hewlett-Packard plotters. Now, when you're in television, you're always making all these graphics. It's very expensive, very time-consuming. Titles. We'd have to get them printed, and there wasn't any, digitized technology at that point. But John learned how to take a multi-pen Hewlett-Packard plotter, which was an XY axis pen driven by a computer, and do graphics for a giant oil company he worked with. He was an executive there. And he showed it to me at the, and this is right after we'd sold special event television. And I looked at it and said, John, every guy that buys a plotter from Hewlett-Packard is going to want one of these software packages. Let's form a partnership.
Wow, that's some really innovative technology for their time. So together they started selling this product, and instead of selling it to the top plotter company back then, which was HP, they sold it to the competitors, which was a great business strategy because that made them a lot of money and gave them order calls from around the world. Kevin made his first $1 million with this company, which eventually turned to $10 million and then $100 million. Soon after that, he sold his company for $4.2 billion, which is absolutely fantastic. After making so much money, Kevin put on his investor shoes. He continued making a lot of money with investments in different companies, and he also made a lot of money appearing on shows like Dragon's Den and our favorite Shark Tank. Now let's look at what qualities KevinO really looks for in an investor. So while researching for this particular video, I came across a very interesting speech of KevinO in a university where he explains what attributes he looks for in an investor. Let's move on to the video.
I want to share with you, other than funny pictures like this, 3 common attributes to all of the deals that got funded on Shark Tank versus all the ones that didn't. This does not speak to the outcome of the businesses. It speaks to those entrepreneurs that were able to sit in front of investors or stand there and actually get their money. And I want you to realize that there's a huge opportunity to understand something unique here, because in each of these 3 cases, they were present in 100% of the deals that got funded. Over thousands of presentations. But in every case, these 3 attributes were there. And why I'm bringing it up now is I know some people are going to be up in front of me in just a few minutes, and I want them to hear what I'm saying here, because maybe they want to modify their presentations a little bit. All right? Number 1, in 100% of the cases, the deals that got funded, the entrepreneur was able to articulate the vision in 90 seconds or less. The idea was so blindingly simple that you could understand it in a minute. This is a cupcake. We put it in a jar. We ship it to people for $6.95. I get it. This is a groove book. I carved a groove in it so I can ship it at the price of a magazine. I get it. You see what I'm saying? All right. 100% of the cases, 90 seconds or less. Number 2, in every case, the entrepreneur, usually a team, over 80% of the time, were able to articulate why they were the right people to execute the business plan. What credentials, what confidence, what experience, why were they able to take an idea and turn it into a business? Very important. Present in 100% of the deals that got financed. Now this is far more sinister, this last point, because in front of me multiple times I have seen deals that are now like an isotope sizzling. The first 2 are present, sharks are fighting, everybody wants in, and then this happens. In 100% of the time that people got financed, they were able to answer every single question about their business model and their numbers. with perfection. When you're sitting listening to an entrepreneur and you start to ask them, how much market share do you need to break even? What's your margins? How large is the market? How fast is it growing? Who's your number one competition? How much free cash flow do you think you'll make in the first 3 years? If you can't answer those questions, or you make a mistake, or you seem lost, you're screwed. This is really important. This last one's a killer. And I want you to remember that because I tell entrepreneurs today, if you're not good with numbers, bring someone who is. It's incredibly important. Yes. Thank you.
I feel that video was very insightful and very beneficial for my knowledge. I mean, even in my past Shark Tank videos, I've talked about these things, but now I have a much greater perspective on this. What I learned from Kevin. After researching on Kevin in depth, I believe that he's a very knowledgeable man and we can learn a lot from him. First of all, he's straightforward, which I appreciate. Many people might think that he's rude because of this, but I think it's a very useful way of speaking, because instead of beating around the bush, you directly get on point, saving time and money. And more than that, he continued to educate himself even after earning a lot of money, which I think is important, because only then can you explore into different markets and make even more money. I like his straightforwardness because personally, I too am straightforward. The only thing I don't like about him is that he's a bit mean and he pushes people too far. Leaving that, he's absolutely perfect and I would love to learn from him. And if I had the opportunity to meet him, it would be mind-blowing. Anyways, this is the end for today's video. I hope you guys liked the video and will hit that like button. And if you want to tell me like anything I should improve on, then please comment on the video, share the video and subscribe. Till then, peace.